Welcome to the overnight. And the Giants lose again. Which is a good thing because it helps the team with the draft pick. You know, a lot of Giant fans don't like to hear that, but in reality, it's going to help this team. Because if they hold the number one pick, they control who they can deal with, because you know they're going to trade down and get a boatload of picks. So, you know, yesterday's loss, which was another winnable game, and this is despite how awful Jackson Dart looked, and especially the mistakes that were made. You know, fucking the defense. How many fucking times on 3rd and long did you let them off the hook? I can fucking tell you. The Giants had Minnesota at 3rd and 10 or more 4 times. They went 4 for 4 passing with 62 yards and 3 first downs. And yeah, the defense did some things. You know, they had, Brian Burns had that, sack, fumble, and Newman took it back for the score. And we wouldn't have had a second score, if Abdul Carter lined up correctly. And he wasn't in a neutral zone. That negated a 95-yard pick six. The special teams was fine. You had another kicker, Sauls. Better call Sauls. I don't know. He's lefty. He made both his field goals at his extra point. I got the Geeks brownie points for that. And in the offense, the only one that played well with the offense was Tyrone Tracy. Jackson Dart was abysmal yesterday. I don't care what anyone fucking says. He made 2 good throws the entire fucking day. And none of them were in the first half. If you look at the 5 throws he threw in the first half, the first one he short hopped. The second one, if he actually didn't kind of float it to Wan'Dale, he wouldn't have gotten lit up. And he actually would have caught the ball. Then on 3rd and 15, Dart throws a 5-yard slant to Theo Johnson. And I thought it was a terrible throw to begin with. And it wound up getting picked. And then the first completion he picked to Wan'Dale was not a good throw. And then the last throw he did at the half should have been picked. So the play calling was, I don't know what the fuck the play calling was. We're becoming extremely predictable. The Giants on first down ran the ball 19. On first down, they ran it 16 of the 19 first downs. 16! And they had 2 play action passes the entire game, 1 in each half. I don't know what the fuck they're Kafka's trying to do, but I've said it. Kafka should have never been the interim because he was part of the problem. And people now are fucking realizing this. No, it's just the way it is. I've said it. Mike Kafka should have never been the interim head coach. Should have gave it to Shea Tierney. And it's just fucking so bad. And then hearing this on social media about if we get the number one pick, we should go and get Mendoza, the Heisman winner, and trade Jackson Dart. What are we doing? This was Jackson Dart's worst game. He is a rookie. You're going to have growing pains. You're going to have games like this. Brian Flores is extremely hard on rookie quarterbacks. And this is the second game in a row that the Giants did not score a touchdown against his defense in the last 2 seasons. So, it doesn't matter the quarterback. And on top of that, you lost your left tackle to a hamstring. And then you lost your center. And then on top of that, you're thin on because if another lineman would have got hurt yesterday, I don't know what the hell they would have did. But next week's game against Vegas will determine who's going to pick first. And even though the Giants are favored, I don't know how, I think the Giants should lose that game. And they'll be a lock for the number one. And then you could take that number one pick, because I know teams need quarterbacks. Like Arizona, like Cleveland, like the Jets, like the Raiders. You hold that one pick, and you get you do a draft swap, and then you get first rounders for next year. I mean, the ideal team to trade with would be the Jets. The Jets would be the ideal team because they have multiple firsts. And I think the ideal trade would be if the Jets finish 7th for the draft. You offer the first pick, you get the 7th, you get their 18th or wherever, their late teams, what they got from Indy, and then you get both firsts from when they got from Indy and Dallas. So you have 3 firsts, and then if the Giants have to give him something else, you give him fucking Darius Slayton. You get rid of that fucking contract because he had another fucking drop today that was more egregious than fucking Theo Johnson's. But that's what you got to do. You want to make this team better? You know what? You want to get rid of the fucking GM? Fine. But like I've said in the last couple of videos, Joe Schoen doesn't fucking have to it doesn't motivate the fucking players. That's not his job. His job is to get this team, and you know what? I don't want to, and everyone says, this team doesn't have talent, this team doesn't have talent. Every team has fucking talent. Everyone in the league has talent. They wouldn't be there if they didn't have talent. It is up to the coaches to get the most out of that talent. The Giants don't do that. The Giants don't fucking do that. And then all we blame the fucking GM. for picking that player. Because we already fired Dable. We already fired Shane Bowen. Kafka's next. And then I saw a tweet today that if the Giants make the Notre Dame head coach if they make him the coach, they're thinking about having Kafka as their OC. Mike Kafka needs to be off this team, period. Mike Kafka needs to be off this fucking team, period. He's part of the problem. You look at the play calling these last couple of games. They're just fucking terrible. And especially in the red zone. I mean, look at today. Giants had 48 plays today. They spent half the fucking plays that they had inside Vikings territory. They didn't score a fucking touchdown. They did not score a fucking touchdown. And the first drive, or I think it was the first drive that they ended on downs, and especially when you come out run, and you're being fucking predictable. You gonna throw the fucking ball, and then we got bailed out by a couple of roughing the passer, and the two roughing the passer calls. If you really look at it, it was helmet to helmet. But, the NFL didn't do fucking anything about that. They didn't fucking send them to the fucking sideline to bring them to the 10. But, I think the NFL is just, I think it has something, I don't know what the fuck that has against Dart. But, like I said, Dart has you're going to have growing pains with Dart. He's going to have these good games. He's going to have these, and this is his worst game. Fucking Max Brosmer, who had fucking 4 interceptions against Seattle, had more passing yards in the second half than Jackson Dart the entire game. I mean, J.J. McCarthy didn't have a bad game until Brian Burns let him up, and he hurt his hand. And I said it would be the get-right game for Justin Jefferson. We had, 6 for 90 or something like that? But, but with Dart, he made fucking terrible throws. And then I saw things on social media today, on yesterday, that, we had, so many drops that, Slayton and Theo Johnson had 5 total drops. Let me explain something to you. Go look at the fucking box score. Because Theo Johnson and Darius Slayton had 2 targets apiece. So how can they have 5 fucking drops? I don't know. Next week is a big game. This will determine the number 1 pick in the draft. But I think even if they do win, because Vegas has Kansas City in the final, and I think that I think Vegas will beat Kansas City because they're on their 3rd string quarterback, and they got nothing to play for. So I think that we have a very good chance of locking up the number 1 spot, even if we win or lose. And I saw if we win one game, if we win this game and lose to Dallas, which is a given, they can go no lower than 3rd. But if they win both games, they can go as low as 7th. And you want that top pick, because I think with the top pick, You can control. You can ask whatever you fucking want, and teams will overpay to get that tough spot. And that's what I think. Whoever is gonna run, whoever the GM is gonna be, whether it be Shane or someone else that's gonna make these decisions. So, be that as it may. I mean, yeah, it was a winnable game. It was a good loss. But, like I said, these games are winnable. And if we had competent coaching, we'd probably be fighting for a playoff spot right now. So, even with all the injuries that we've sustained, with all the but if Andrew Thomas doesn't play or he's hurt, this offensive line is just like night and day. They can't block. It's like they like can't their own way. It's just amazing. But I think they're gonna just do what they did with Kayvon, just shut him down through it, and get ready for 26, which should be ideal. But that's about it for today about the Giants. Nets won again. They look pretty good. The rookies are starting to come together a little bit. Traore had a good game today. Yegor had a good game. Michael Porter Jr. is starting to solidify himself. And I'm going to say it as the best player in New York over Jalen Brunson. And he's pacing that right now. But we need to build around him and not fucking trade him like everyone else wants to. You want to trade Claxton? I'm for that. But you need to keep Michael Porter Jr. at all costs. And you build around him and Cam Thomas when he returns. And you put Cam Thomas back in the lineup instead of Terrence Mann, I think we'll be even better. But, and then, the Yankees haven't done a thing yet. But, yeah, they signed Paul Blackburn. Like they said, they're fucking running it back. But, we'll see what happens with Bellinger. But that's about it for today. Embrace the tank. I'm for it. I've been for it for when they had the number one pick. I said, they need to do whatever it takes to keep it. I think they will. So it's Christmas time. Everyone have a good Merry Christmas. And next week.